Hi, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Ag Network, and at the Grape Raisin and Nut Expo this year, hosted by Malcolm Media Ag Publishing, Central Valley growers gathered at the Fresno Fairgrounds to learn the current issues, challenges, and successes of the industry. Chris Valadez of the California Grape and Tree Fruit League discussed new water quality regulations coming our way.
The Regional Water Quality Control Board, so the state of California, is implementing a new water quality program. Previously, it was directly related to surface water quality and whether or not there was runoff from your farms into surface water channels, which are waters of the state of California, and the anticipated degradation of those waters. That program, which may or may not have affected you, because here in the Central Valley, there are arguably, in comparison to other areas, the Salinas Valley and others, the runoff is generally limited here. However, the state of California changed direction and put forward a regulation which would now include not the regulation, at least from your perspective, of groundwater quality that you may pump, but the regulation of groundwater as you apply it on farm, whether through drip or whatever irrigation method you may have. They're looking at its travel past the root zone into first encountered groundwater, and through this order, through this regulation, it's their job to look to your farms and assess whether your irrigation practice combined with your fertilization practices, whether those two in concert are creating a degradation of water quality that would be in violation of drinking water standards. Now, it seems absurd because these on-farm wells, generally, we're not thinking of them as a drinking water source per se. However, the way we have through California state law, many of these water bodies and underground water bodies, so our groundwater, is held to the drinking water standard. So in concert with this regulation, there are also parallel efforts underway through the state of California and through participation with associations like ours. We're trying to work with the state to designate these water bodies with a different designation, so that first and foremost, A, we don't see it as a drinking water body, but second, that the state of California is not successful in, down the road, implementing a regulation which would require you guys to adjust, your guys and gals to adjust your irrigation or fertilization practices. Arguably, the state of California, they can look at their evidence through wells, data sampling that they've had over the years, contracts that they've employed to sample wells, municipal wells, domestic wells, up and down the San Joaquin Valley, and they can conclude that the samples will reveal there's exceedances, and there's exceedances beyond the water quality standard. Most can't argue the sufficiency or the adequacy of that sample itself. What we can argue is whether or not it's your practices and the practices that have advanced significantly over the past 50 years in the areas of fertilization and irrigation, whether those practices are contributing to the problem or whether or not the samples that are pulled are indicative of legacy issues that occurred 50 or more years ago. So that continues to be a continuing debate, but one as farmers and in the state of California, and particularly here in this valley, you guys are going to see the direct impact very soon as it relates to your involvement through the program called Irrigated Lands Regulatory Program.
It's important that we are aware of the regulations coming our way in the grape and tree fruit industries. Thus, we can take proactive measures through groups like the Grape and Tree Fruit League to ensure that the regulations truly reflect the needs of the industry. Read Valadez's full report in the December issue of American Vineyard or California Fresh Fruit magazines. I'm Matthew, CaliforniaAgNet.com.